welcome to Why They Play the Game, a show created to discuss the NBA on and off the court. I'm just one of your co-hosts, Michael Eric Owens.
And I'm Ken Hayes.
Hey, what's going on, my brother?
What's going on, Mike? So over here, got a lot of disappointed fans, upset, mad. So, get over it and wait till next year.
I'm talking about the Packers.
Yeah.
Well, we talk NBA here, folks, and and as we have this short little discussion here, hit that like and that subscribe button. But Ken, I'm just not a believer in Jordan Love. Oof. I knew Jordan's normally gonna have a good first half on you. It's the second half, man. When you look at the pattern of especially the big games, he doesn't come
disappears.
Through. You can't score 21 points. You can't be up 21-3 at halftime and just come out and lay an egg. I mean, even if you had to march your team down and just got field goals, you'd have won the game. So Packers didn't deserve to win the game. They didn't play well. And it was difficult without Micah. Let's just be honest. They had no pass rush. It probably would have been a different outcome because Micah probably could have saved them. But I just don't think Jordan Love is a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Mike, I can't even make an argument for him because he just looked like he was a little lost when they panned the sidelines. He was just like, confused. And I think the coach was over there, I guess, giving him a pep talk, but, guess that wasn't working either. So this, Mike, let's wait for next year. Training camp, right around the corner in the drafts.
I don't know, man. I think they need to make some changes, Ken. I'm telling you. I think they need to make a head coach change. I think they're going to lose their defensive coordinator.
Oh, yeah.
They'll lose him. So I just think, man, because Jordan has been, what is this, his third year?
Third? I thought it was his fourth year.
Could be third or fourth year. Listen, you got your answer. And I'm not saying he is a good quarterback. I just don't see him as a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He can't, man. These quarterbacks that are dynamic, they hurt you with their arm and they hurt you with your legs.
Right.
And he just want to stay in that pocket. Ken, how you gonna have two intentional grounding? And what? You got to get out of the pocket. You got to throw the ball away. I'm not a football guy, but I watched long enough to understand what needs to take place on the field, man. And he needs to he make a first down with your legs.
Right.
You know what I mean? You look at Josh Allen. You look at Dak Prescott. You look at a lot of Lamar. Lamar. You look at these quarterbacks. They going. When it's third down or fourth down, if they can't throw it, they will try to make it. When you look at Jalen Hurts, he gonna hurt you with his legs,
right,
and with his arm. Jordan Love is not that, Ken. So, folks, we talked a little NFL, but we want to get into the NBA. A lot has happened. We should say Happy New Year to the listening audience, and it's good to be back in the studio, Ken. And we're coming up on February 5th, the NBA trade deadline. So we already know that Trae Young has been traded to the Washington Wizards. So Ken, when you heard that Trae Young was being traded, and to the team he was traded to, what were your thoughts?
Mike, Trae has been in the league, 8 years? 4-time, All-Star. Lately, a lot of injuries coming up for him, unfortunately. He's right now he's in a 5-year, $215 million contract. And I just think that from the reports that I get that Trae, him and the players, they were not getting along, too ball dominant as far as, the team, they thought he was taking too many shots and had too much control, over the basketball. I think going to Washington, for a lot of players, that's the kind of the death of your career, because the last time Washington was in the playoffs was I think 2021 when Bradley Beal was there and they lost to Philly 4-1, a gentleman's sweep. So I just think that I'm not mad at anybody who gets their money, but right now he's making about 40 $45 million. I mean, that's a lot for a guy. I think he shoots under 40% from the field. He probably from what I saw, shoots maybe about 87% from the line. His first 4 years was just spectacular. I mean, knocked New York out of the playoffs. But Mike, the thing about it is that, and we'll talk about this a little later, can teams win with small guards? And we'll talk, we'll get a little into that. But as far as this is concerned, what Atlanta's getting, C.J. McCollum, his contract is expiring after the end of this year. So that's a lot of room to sign some free agents. Atlanta is a young team, but are they going to go anywhere? That's to be seen. So, I think it was more about money than trying to make the team better. That's just my thoughts on it. What do you think about it?
I just don't think Atlanta knew with the makeup that they had, they were not going to go and win a championship. And they were paying this one guy a lot of money who was their franchise player, which they felt couldn't get it done. Now, whether that's Trae's fault or not, that's a discussion that many people can have. Was he surrounded with the right people around him? I mean, they brought, Murray in, right? Remember when they brought him in?
Yeah.
Porzingis in, they brought in players, but did they bring in players that, we could say hide some of his deficiencies in his physical stature and, just his inability to guard bigger players? And I really think with Jalen Johnson, the way that he has came alive, the Milwaukee boy, the way that he has came alive, I think they're putting a lot of trust in him. I think they're going to try to build a team around him. What, he's 6'9", 6'10", can handle the ball. Oh, he got game. And with Trae is going to be, Trae would lead the league in assists.
Right.
And so he's going to have, he's going to be ball dominant. And I think that became a problem with other playmakers in Atlanta. Ken, when I look at, do you realize this year he's averaging 19 points a game, still 8, almost 9 assists, a rebound a game, shooting 41% from the field, only 30.5 from 3. He's playing 28 minutes. But Ken, he's only played 10 games this year.
I know, right.
That's
what I mentioned in
29 games, so he's got that right MCL sprain. So, what healthy version are you getting of him? Like you say, Ken, it doesn't make either one of them better. Okay, the idea that Washington has a young team they got a young team, but man, you got what, Chris Middleton on there? I think they might release Chris after this year.
I think so too.
I think they might let him go because I think the move with CJ lets you know that they see no value in keeping vets around in Washington. And I think that's been a problem for them for a very long time. Man, we got to go back to the Wes Unseld days, man. For
Elvin Hayes.
You know what I mean? But I don't know. And like you say, I do want to come back to that conversation about your franchise player being a smaller guard. What does that mean? What have we seen in the past? But it's a different change. I don't think Trae, in my opinion, I don't think that's his last stop.
No, that's a great point, Mike. I don't think so either. But next year he has a player option for $48 million. Right? Yeah. Exactly. So you think about the players who are let's just say between 45 and 55. Giannis, Luka, Joker. $48 million for Trae Young? I don't know about that one, Mike. That's a lot of money to be invested in a guy lately who's been injured. But injuries are going to happen. But man, if I'm paying you that much money, you got to be at least giving me 25, 28, 30 a game, and 10 rebounds.
Yeah, I think with the new CBA, you're going to find out that a lot of guys are overpaid and gonna have to take a pay cut if they try to move somewhere. You just don't have the money. And like you say, it's reduced to those players that are all NBA first team, MVPs, have won a championship. I mean, or have won championships in the past and have that rep. Like, no, I just think unless you start winning championships and you're switching teams, you're gonna run up on the money's just not there, Ken.
And the other thing also, I mean, right now he's a max contract, so he's going to be looking for a super max contract, after this player option. I know for a fact that he's not going to turn down his player option. If he doesn't, let me, shoot, 48 million?
That's a lot of money, Ken. That's a lot of money, man. And so anything else about Trae Young? Again, like you said, Washington is one of those places. I hate to say it, man, but I agree with you, man. Players just go there and they disappear.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they the coverage is not there, the winning is not there. You just kind of forget about Washington. But he gonna score a lot of points.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I think Trae is a good player. I don't think Atlanta, as it is right now, is a good fit for him.
No.
I just don't think. I'll say this too. I just don't think he needs to be the quote unquote focal point of the team, not the first option, as far as that's concerned.
Well, he shouldn't have went to Washington.
Well,
because he gonna be the first option there. So Ken, the next one that I want to talk about today is Ja Morant. We know he hasn't been traded.
Right.
But we've heard Morant has only played in 18 games this season, and he's out due to a right calf contusion, averaging 19 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, 40% from the field, Ken, but only 28.3% from. And how much is he making?
Oh, right now he's making about 39 million.
He's played 18 games. So the whole... But first of all, Ken, let me say this. Is there a market? Is there a team out there is willing to trade for? And you have to take it, we have to take everything in context, right? So we know about his past challenges. We know about the fact it's been reported that he's not happy with how the offense is. He's playing less minutes. He has less of the ball in his hands. I think that's some of the tension. I was watching Memphis fans tell him, don't go, stay here. We
right.
need you, work it out. But is there, in your mind, is there a market? Are there teams out there that would leap at the chance to trade to get Ja Morant?
Mike, there's teams out there that would, like to have him on their team. I don't know if they're, let's just say, leaping out there to trade for him. As an exciting player, one of the players that you just have to watch some of the things that he can do. And I think that his play has resulted in a setback for him as far as the injuries are concerned. As far as the suspensions and him and the coach going back and forth and him being suspended, that's that carries a lot of weight within the NBA. People, they don't say nothing about it, but it does, because a lot of these execs, they don't want to have let's just say, the issues going forward with a player like that, because they are, if something like that happens, the players might as well pack his bags for the most part. I think, when Memphis got rid of Desmond Bane, it seems like they wanted to go, let's just say, with younger players. And then when the situation when Ja and the coach were not getting along, and Ja was saying that, the ball should be in his hands more, and the coach was like, we need to, pass it and, get everybody involved. So, there's conflict. But the thing about it is that, let's just say he goes somewhere else, how is he going to fit with another team? And right now we don't know where he's going to go, if he's going to go. But I think that, in my personal opinion, I think a different place for him would be good for his career.
Yeah, Ken, I would agree too. I think, sometimes you try to make things work, and for whatever reason, between, just what it was going on in his life and the challenges that he faced, it was up and down for him in Memphis. I think, like you said, a change of venue, man, can always be better. I just think Ja, as exciting as he is, and I've spoke about Ja in very glowing ways over the years, and having an affinity toward point guards myself, right?
Right.
I've always liked his game, but I think he hasn't evolved his game, Ken. That's a problem. I mean, he's shooting 28% from the three. You can't be 6'1", 6'2" in today's league. Today's league is a less ISO league. Less ISO league. Like Iverson back in the day, okay, that is not what teams are doing now. Matter of fact, I would say most of these players cannot even go ISO. Most of these players don't even have that's when they say, boy, they're more skilled. No, most of these players only can do is get to a spot and spot up threes. Like the majority, the Kyries, the Ja Morants, the difference between a Kyrie and a Ja is Kyrie can hit that three on you.
Right.
And he's got a great mid-range. So he's one-dimensional. He's exciting, but he's got to get to the hole. He's got to, and in a league where now what you're trying to do is spread the floor. You want to drive and kick. If you're unabated, you go to the rim. But the reason why the NBA now is going toward this drive and kick because you got such good three-point shooters, and everybody wants to shoot threes. You're shooting 45, 50, even 53s a game. And so if you have a guy that only likes to operate and score and not necessarily drive and kick, you got a stagnant offense. And so where does he go where, it's, again, what's the difference between him and Jalen Brunson? Jalen's got a mad mid-range game, and he can hit the three on you. So Ja is limited in his ability. We wouldn't say he's a Trae Young in assists. We wouldn't say that. Okay, so his strength is taking you off the dribble, going one-on-one, going to the rim, high flying. That's his game. That game is no longer available. Not for someone 6'2". That's the 80s and the 90s, baby, the early 2000s. Now we're in the point where you look at guards. Guards are now 6'4" and taller, right? We don't have 6'7", 6'8" point guards. These no longer. Even when you look at Ryan Rollins, he's not a Ryan Rollins. Ryan can take you to the hole. He can do the mid-range on you. He can shoot the three on you. He's got mad D. Would we say that Josh got mad D?
No, not whatsoever.
He's overpaid. He's overpaid. For today's league, he's extremely talented, ultra exciting, man. But in a game with a three-pointer is the most important shot, you have to. Who survives today is Giannis because he's unstoppable. And what Giannis does is he drives and kicks. And if you don't guard him, he goes straight to the hole on you. Right. Sometimes when you do guard him, he go punch it on your head. But Giannis is 7 feet, okay? So that's a whole nother level, Ken. So I just don't think there's a great appetite to trade for him. I just really don't, man. I don't think okay, Ken, let me say this, though. I don't think any team that is in position to compete for a championship wants to trade for him.
They would have to give up too much for the most part.
Competing.
But I think Memphis is trying to take a page out of OKC as far as, let's just say, picking up a lot of draft picks. Are they rebuilding? In my mind, yes, because I think they want to have everything centered around Jackson. That's going to be their centerpiece from what I can tell. I think Ja gives them a way of picking up picks like Oklahoma City did. And down the line you can trade the picks for, let's just say a superstar or get, let's just say 2 first-round picks and things like that. But I just don't, Mike, I don't see him staying, even if he's not traded by February 5th. I think in the offseason they will try real hard to some way move him.
I agree with you. I think it's over. I agree. Eventually, I just think And again, I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot like Russell Westbrook. I mean, Russell is a guy that had that and still has that type of speed, athleticism game, but he can shoot threes. And so he found himself really searching for a team, having to take a back seat and not be ball dominant, having to come off the bench. You see the transition, Ken?
Right.
From being the main guy, ball dominant, and all of a sudden you can't, when it comes time for you to leave that team, you can't shoot threes. So how do you fit? And that's been Russell's problem. But Russell has adjusted in a way to come off the bench. I don't know if Ja's willing to do that this early in his career.
Not right now, he's not.
To come off the bench and not be that focal piece. So I don't know if there's any team out there, Ken, that will trade for him that is a championship contender that is going to make him the focal point of their organization.
Let's talk about the idea of whether or not a smaller point guard can be the focal point of a modern NBA championship team. What are your thoughts on that?
So, Mike, I think the definition of point guards have changed, and we've seen that with Magic Johnson back in the '80s. But if you say point guard, that could be Kay Cunningham, or that could be Luka. So it depends the scenario as far as the team is concerned. But, as far as, let's just say, a quote unquote traditional point guard, 6'1", 6'2", somewhere around there, that's hard to do in this form of NBA that we have right now, because I think that you're going to have guys who are 6'9", 6'10", who can shoot the three, take you off the dribble. Victor, could we consider him as a point guard? Probably not. It's more of an extreme. But so it just, with a guy like Trae Young and Ja, I just don't think a team can, let's just say, sustain as far as, playoff run and championship and things like that. So I just don't see it, Mike. I mean, that's just my opinion.
No, I think those days are over, Ken. I would agree with you. I mean, when you look at Cade is what, 6'9"? I mean, so again, he is a guy that can dominate, on the offensive end. So yes, when we look at Cleveland, you would Darius Garland be your focal point? Of course not.
No.
I mean, when we look around the league and we see the teams, Luka, what is Luka? What, 6'5" or something?
Luka, you said?
Yeah, how tall is Luka?
I thought he was like 6'7".
Okay, 6'7". So when you look, and he wide bodied.
Oh,
you see what I'm saying? And again, we could talk about Luka's defense, but you surround Luka with the right pieces, yeah, he could definitely bring you a championship. He could be your focal point. I just think those days are over with, Ken. The 6'1", the 6'2", coming in, being a point guard, even being in the two position. I just think the league is a taller league, more athleticism at that height, the ability to dribble, like you say, shoot the three, the dribble to get out in the get out and run with the ball. No, the small guy is done. I don't care how good you have to be exceptional. Now, the small guy still, the bench guy coming off that can shoot, there's still that. If you a Kyrie, that's just special. I mean, you have to be, Kyrie is exceptional. I mean, right. you Brunson is exceptional. When you look at these guys, they do it all. And I just think it's a dying breed. The small 6'1", 6'2" coming in, being the focal point. The game has moved away, and it's going to be interesting to see the future of, Trae Young and Ja Morant, because that's going to be a test for other guards that are coming up that are just smaller in stature and limited in what they can do on the defensive end. And also, my last point, these are not knockdown shooters.
I agree with you. I think, Mike, you just mentioned on the defensive end what happens. do they get taken advantage of? Or can they, stand up, to the defensive pressure? I mean, well, I don't know if this is a good example, but the Bucks with they look at Green like, that's just, baskets because we want to take advantage of him because of his stature, So it's interesting to see how the game has changed. I mean, you look at guys like Isaiah, Mo Cheeks, you know, point guard, handle the ball, run the team, shoot the jumper, mid range, outside, go to the basket. So, you don't. Most point guards, their prime focus is that pick and roll, and they hit that three. So it's a change into the guards as far as point guards are concerned.
Yeah, it is. I just, again, when you look at 80s, 90s basketball, the three was not the preferred shot, and guys did more one-on-one. I mean, it was more break your man down, get to the basket, dish. Nowadays, it's not. It's spread the floor, get out of the lane, let one guy operate, and if he can't get to the basket, kick and hit your shooters. It's hard to do that at 6'1", 6'2". I mean, when you're 6'9", 6'10", you can see over the defense. It's a different sort of thing. And you're going against, now you're 6'2", you're going against guys that are 6'7", 6'5", 6'6", 6'8",
Right.
6'9". It, again, I think it's going to be good to see how these two, in particular, how things play out for them. Folks, what are your thoughts? Do you think a smaller guy can still be the franchise player on a championship NBA team in this era? Where do you think Ja should go if he does go?
Hmm.
I mean, for me, if I had my way, and nobody cares about my way, if I had my way, they would work it out and leave him there, because I think he does mean a lot to that city, man. To hear those people talk, to hear those fans talk about how much they love him and how much they want him to be there. For me, for those fans, I wish he would work that out and stay there. But I tend to agree with you, Ken. I think it's just a matter of time. Ken, last word, my brother.
Mike, the thing about it is that, when you have your, let's just say, star player and the coach, let's just say, at each other's throat, somebody has to go. Sometimes as a coach, sometimes as a player, somebody's going to have to go. So from what it's looking like, I think Ja is out the door.
Well, you heard it, folks. Ken say Ja is out the door. The world of sports unites us. Therefore, let us take this unity into our everyday life. This is why they play the game.